Another Affinity Pilot. We already saw one just get knocked out last round, but Anthony still in the tournament as of now.
Mm-hmm.
Going a bit bigger with his Affinity list. Has cards like Experimental Frenzy and Master of Ethereum in the deck. And, you know, this is kind of some modern matchup that we've seen for the last couple years, and one that I always felt like Affinity had a lot of chance to win.
So you're talking about OG printing Grixis Death Shadow versus foiled out Affinity?
I do like
classic
that.
modern
nice.
decks.
Here is turn 2 Gurmag Angler from Thomas. Anthony has still kept the Mem Knights in. And here's Arcbound Ravager to join him. A swing in and 2 damage in. Mem Knight gets offered up to the Arcbound Ravager.
I like this. This is Sherman just saying, I'm going to get you dead.
Yeah.
I do not care if you're a Death Shadow deck. That it sounds like we both want to make you lose life. Let's go.
Yeah, 15. Anthony down to 14, so a straight race so far. Bauble from Thomas. Bauble's top card from Anthony. Has a Street Wraith, but he's thinking twice about whether he wants to cycle it. It goes down to 13.
Sounds to me like he probably has one less card in his hand.
Yeah. Another Gurmag Angler, though. If he can just race. If you have enough 1-mana 5/5s, it'll do work.
Ooh.
A second Ravager and a Ginger Brute from Sherman, but can he attack?
Oh. Can he?
Oh, and he will. So, full attack here. Ginger Brute gets blocked by the Angler. It's sacrificed to the Ravager that's attacking. And Thomas says, hold on, I have some responses with that on the stack. Then says, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Fatal Push hanging out in hand.
Thomas down to 8. Pushes the other Ravager. Anthony will sack it. Modular onto Vault Scourge. Remember, Anthony's been gaining life thanks to that life link.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas down to 6.
Does he have Battle Rage?
Is he looking for Battle Rage? I think that's... Or is he looking for the red source for a Battle Rage?
Oh, no.
That kind of play makes me think he's digging for the red source.
Mm-hmm. He just knows this is this is the turn.
Down to 4. Makes a third Angler, but passes. He's at least bluffing. Oh, it's All That Glitters. I was going to say he's bluffing a Fatal Push, but All That Glitters on Vault Scourge. And now Blinkmoth Nexus means there's 2 lethal flyers.
Oh,
you can't remove them both, and Sherman's takes the win.
Honestly, that was a really tight game.
Yeah, and I like it from Thomas, you know, the kind of bluff there, but Anthony's ready with the response.
No, you got to play to win the game. Sometimes the odds might be slim, but a 10%'s more than a 0.
Well, and Thomas playing to win there, too. You know, second angle, like, continue to say, fine, cycle Street Wraith, shock, keep playing things. I love this.
Yes, absolutely. Both players know their role in the matchup. They know what's important, and that's killing your opponent.
So, quick look at the sideboards for the players. Thomas does have things that are good in this matchup. He's got a Plague Engineer. He's got 3 Kolaghan's commands in the sideboard, 2 Collective Brutalities, a Dreadbore, a lot of removal.
Oh, yeah. He's just going to be trying to interact rather than using things like Thoughtseize and Street Wraith. He's going to morph into more of a Grixis control deck that plans to use Death Shadow and Gurmag Angler as finishers.
You know, I think there's going to be some punishment then on Anthony's side. His 3-drop of choice in the main is Master of Ethereum. He only has 2 Etched Champions in the 75 as opposed to 4. So against that Grixis control, he's playing auras. He's playing Master of Ethereums. It's not as good as you'd normally hope.
Yeah, I imagine the thing that's going to be coming out here is All That Glitters, and you're looking at things like Etched Champion and maybe Stubborn Denial or Dispatch to fill in the cracks there.
Right. Cards that you can play, cards I wouldn't be hugely excited about.
Right. It's definitely a matter of taking All That Glitters out of your deck more than putting Stubborn Denial in your deck.
And it seems like to shore that up, like mentioned, Anthony does have 2 Experimental Frenzy in the deck. And actually All That Glitters is in the opener. But both players are going to send it back.
And you know, so here's the other side of the All That Glitters conundrum. We're maybe approaching this wrong from a grindy standpoint. It's not a great card. What if that card, we think of it as a white and 1 4/4 with haste? It might die when any of your other creatures die, but if you just get 1 shot in, that's substantial against something like Death Shadow.
So it's just a burn spell?
Yeah. When you have a virtual 10, starting life total of 10, All That Glitters has a ton of power.
Anthony to 5. Thomas has kept on 6. It's hard, Affinity, to start keeping once you're on 5s, but we do have Etched Champion in the hand.
Is that
So Welding Jar, Ornithopter, Memnite, All That Glitters, Etched Champion.
Welding Jar is a really good one here.
Yeah, All That Glitters, right? It's hard because if your creature's Etched Champion, you can't actually put an aura on it.
Ugh.
But keeps All That Glitters anyway. And we'll see where Thomas goes. It's going to be Inquisition. So 1 land, Ornithopter, Drum. So it looks like Memnite and Welding Jar were put on the bottom.
This is what we call having a plan.
I like it.
I feel like you might have hedged a little bit too much here, where either Etched Champion or Welding Jar.
Yeah.
But if you keep the All That Glitters, I think you want the Welding Jar in your hand.
Right. Second land from Thomas. So Etched Champion was the card taken. Yeah, does Anthony go for All That Glitters in the face of all of this? I don't know about that. Yeah, there is a fatal push here. And Drown in the Loch will take care of Ornithopter.
That will usually kill an Ornithopter.
As long as they have 0 cards in their graveyard.
Ish.
Here's Cranial Plating. That's actually an excellent draw for Anthony. It says go. Interesting, he's not willing to fire up that Blinkmoth Nexus.
Thomas not playing lands is horrifying for Sherman's side of the battlefield.
Yeah. Thought Season, All That Glitters. Shows All That Glitters and Galvanic Blast. He leaves the aura. So now we see Vault Scourge from Sherman. Going to equip that plating and say go. There's a Dismember on the Scourge. Thomas down to 9. Maybe setting up a Death's Shadow. We'll see. 2 more. Does he have it? Shock's down to 7. Feels like he does.
No, it looks
He's
like he just has a Kolaghan's Command.
Okay, well, that might do it. 4th land. 12 and 7. It's an Ornithopter. And Anthony just has such restraint here. He is not going to activate that Nexus.
No, absolutely not. He just wants to not blow up his own land until he thinks it'll be lethal.
Is that now 2? Yeah, 2 glitters in Anthony's hand. Just trying to find a way to connect Kolaghan's Command to kill the Ornithopter and the plating. And no way for Anthony right now to cast All That Glitters. And still have a creature to put it on.
So it feels like Thomas has a bunch going on here, but he is running low, and ultimately Sherman does have more creatures than Thomas is going to have kill spells.
So actually I want to see, if Sherman has 2 All That Glitters, he had an option there to start using them. He can activate Inkmoth Nexus. Back.
I think he's a mana short.
He's still a mana short. Okay,
right. You have to tap the new Nexus.
So now we can do it. He just drew another Citadel. And with enough artifacts, right, so 1 mana activates the Inkmoth Nexus. Inkmoth and a second land cast All That Glitters on Blinkmoth, which you need a land to activate. So he should be good, but he's choosing not to do it.
Right, just really just showing patience here, but he may be running out.
Well, if he gets 1 more artifact, it's just lethal this turn, right? Actually, it was just lethal that turn. He has 5 in play.
Right.
I think he just has to go for it.
It's so close.
Stubborn Denial in hand. I mean, I would like it if you could make that play with Stubborn Denial up, but he's going to say go again.
And it feels like he's just looking for that blue source off the top.
Here is Inkmoth Nexus. Now, Stubborn Denial is up, but it's... Yeah, Kolaghan's Command takes care of it. With a mana floating. It's their way around it. Taps Stubborn Denial. At least wants him to fetch. Goes to 8.
Is this the window? Is this going to happen?
He needs to draw land, right?
A Mox Opal would do it. Oh, I see. He went Shock Sherman, which forced the Blinkmoth to chump.
Wow. So we see Arcbound Ravager and All That Glitters is on it. And Dreadbore takes care of that. Another Blinkmoth says go, but Thomas is at 8. His aura doesn't stick that well. Here's Inkmoth Nexus. He can kind of get in a big point here, and now he's going to make the play. Here's Blinkmoth Nexus. It's a creature. Here's All That Glitters. And is there another removal spell for Thomas? There's a Stubborn Denial, so he only takes 1. He's down to 7.
All right. No, this is a clock, though, and this also tells Sherman the shields are down.
And here is also a clock. It's Death's Shadow from Thomas. Another swing in. Thomas down to 6.
Oh, my God. This is right down to the wire.
Yeah, one card in Sherman's hand. Here's a swing. It's a chump block with the Ink Moth. And fatal push. No, it's not a chump block. He clears it out of the way, and we go to game 3.
That game was actually kind of absurd considering how much happened. Players mulliganing it.
Well, how many Kolaghan's commands he was trying to fight through.
Right.
That is a crazy card for Affinity to beat. And Sherman will get to be on the play. He was on a mull to 5. He made a really good game of it there.
Oh, absolutely. Very well played on Sherman's part. And, you know, both of these players know how to play all of their cards. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but we saw Thomas playing to his last possible out game 1, and Anthony doing the exact same there. These players are hungry.
And no re-sideboard at all. You see Anthony not switching anything. He's really in on these auras, even though despite what happened last game.
Yeah, and you know, we saw with the way he's navigating them, it's likely that they are worth damage most of the time. That was on a mull to 5.
Yeah.
He almost killed Thomas twice.
Well, they're burn spells. If he expects his opponent is already doing some of the damage for him, just says, fine, these will be lethal at some point. And now we see Anthony starting Ornithopter and Opal. This could be a big start. Sometimes these lots of 0 mana starts against a Kolaghan's command deck can get scary.
Right.
You know.
You just end up overloading them.
Yeah, it can be scary on both sides. You can overload a command. At the same time, if your hand only has 1 or 2 payoffs, then it can backfire. Either way, this is a good start. There's some damage in. Thomas down to 14. Both players going to work on Thomas's life total. They agree. Another Ornithopter. Let's get the plating big. Another plating. Let's get it real big.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have a kill spell? Love it from Anthony. It'll at least get a fetch and a shock. It looks like we do have a drown in the lock to take care of the Ornithopter.
Checking if it's CMC or power.
Yep. Unfortunately, it is CMC, so takes care of Ornithopter. Yeah, if it's power, that would not be quite enough.
No.
Activate Blink Moth Nexus. There's so many cranial platings here. It's a swing from Anthony.
Is this lethal?
It is lethal if Thomas doesn't have anything.
Yeah,
it looks like Thomas has something. Kolaghan's command takes care of all the damage. So you can kill an Ornithopter. Oh, and the Nexus. So he's going to leave both platings. This is a neat line to take.
Right, and this is the plan you'll see from a lot of control decks where if you have to kill all their creatures anyway, just leave the platings.
Yeah, it's a good plan in the short term. It actually makes things harder in the long term.
Right, because it makes every single creature lethal.
Right. But I guess Thomas he really couldn't afford to blow up 1 plating and 1 creature.
Right, so you want to ideally leave them with something like Ornithopter, but it doesn't look like that's going to work here.
Okay, end step Galvanic Blast, 4 damage upstairs. And that's with a Death Shadow on the battlefield.
Do you think he's supposed to get in with his Ink Moth Nexus? Or hold it back to block?
Well, he's at 20. Attack.
Temur Battle Rage is strong. Oh, not against a Spellskite.
Not against a Spellskite. Boom, there we go. I guess you're planning to one-shot him with the Ink Moth anyway. Kolaghan's command. Gonna blow up Spellskite. Blue mana. Gonna redirect some of that. Feels like the only play that Sherman has is to shove this Ink Moth and hope everything works out.
All right, let's see.
Does it work? Okay, 1. Go equip. And swing. Why do you equip the other one? Doesn't matter. Dismember. Paying black mana. Very importantly.
I see, and this is to hold back Ink Moth as a blocker.
Snapcaster Mage, drown in the lock. It's not going to do it, though. The blocker's not there. He's at exactly 11. Thomas goes down to 2, and he will take the match with Grixis Death Shadow.